as and when the BJP-led government hiked MLA salaries back in February 2022, and there was little pushback from Congress or Janata Dal Secular at that time. Currently, a Karnataka MLA receives a salary of approximately 1 lakh rupees per month, along with additional allowances and perks that push their total monthly earnings beyond 3 lakh rupees. The new hike is expected to further increase these earnings significantly. Not just this, Congress MLA Ashok Patan has sought 20 crore rupees for a legislators club, along with 15 recliners for MLAs to take power naps during the lunch hour.
The subject did figure in our meeting. Opinions were also expressed. We will bring legislation regarding revision of salary because it is long time it is not done.
Now, in the midst of Karnataka's severe financial crunch, a stark contrast has emerged between the demands of the state's lawmakers and the mounting dues that the government is struggling to clear. Karnataka's elected representatives have put forward a list of luxury demands, while civic bodies report growing unpaid bills for essential government infrastructure. Karnataka's MLAs are demanding a significant increase in their salaries, pushing for a 30 to 40% hike in contrast to the demands for higher pay, and the state's civic bodies have reported that there are pending dues for 100 government buildings, schools, hospitals and other public institutions that are among those affected by unpaid bills, leaving essential infrastructure in disrepair. Now, in addition to the salary hike, they are requesting 20 crore rupees for renovation and maintenance of their exclusive legislators club, while the civic body claims some of Karnataka's most iconic government buildings, including the Vidhana Saudha and the Raj Bhavan, are on the list of buildings with unpaid dues. Now stopping at monetary demands, Karnataka's MLAs are also asking for luxurious office furniture, including massage chairs and recliners. Meanwhile, the civic body in Bengaluru has claimed that some of the government departments have defaulted for 17 years, owing more than 100 crore in dues.
Giving facilities to MLA is my responsibility as a speaker. And recliner chair is not something like nothing luxury. It is a necessity. And you people should understand all MLAs not youngsters and not all are healthy also. So concerning the BJP, BJP people only, leaders only told me, you don't pay it, put it in one place only, ruling party, put it in our opposition party also. There was a demand from them also.
ಸುಮಾರು 100 ಮೇಲ್ಪಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಬೃಹತ್ OTS ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅವರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸದುಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೆನಾಲ್ಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜೀರೋ ಆಗಿ 1/3 ಅಮೌಂಟ್ಗೆನೆ.
Now, the row over the demands for luxurious perks by states MLAs has turned into a bitter exchange between the ruling Congress and the BJP. The BJP has condemned the Congress government for allowing MLAs to demand extravagant perks, labeling the request as a shameful splurge of taxpayer money. In defense, the Congress argues that recliners and other comfort-related perks are not luxuries but a necessity, as Congress claims that providing a comfortable working environment will ensure that MLAs can perform their duties more effectively. Now, sharpening the attack, the BJP has alleged that its party MLAs have never prioritized luxury items or extravagant perks. In a rebuttal, the Congress further justifies the demand for recliners by framing them as a tool to boost productivity. The BJP further accused the Karnataka government of wasting public funds on unnecessary luxuries as the state continues to face a massive fund crisis. In response, the Congress claims that the BJP is merely trying to politicize the issue to distract from the real problems.
See, BJP basically wasteful expenditure, anything wasteful, we are against it. Anything productive and constructive, we are for it.
It is an essential things. They also have to pay the tax. We have not given exemption for government bill for not paying the tax. They also have to pay the tax.
Electricity bill.
Because electricity bill, if it doesn't give back to the electric suppliers, we will have to pay 18% of the interest. Yeah. That is the problem.
Now, the MLAs are enjoying comfortable VVIP treatment. Meanwhile, it's Aam Aadmi having to bear the brunt of it all. There seems to be no relief in sight either. Here's what the Congress debt fact file looks like. The Karnataka government is facing outstanding liabilities of nearly 22.7% of the state's GDP or 7.25 lakh crore. And it's not only about Karnataka. This seems to be the case in all Congress-ruled states. In Himachal Pradesh, the outstanding liabilities are at 44.2% of the state's GDP or 1.2 lakh crore. The net interest payment of 5,465 crore rupees is due. In Telangana, the outstanding liabilities are 27.8% of the state's GDP or 4.42 lakh crore, and the net interest payment amounts to 22,244 crore rupees. So what is happening is the big question. Is this entire election-driven Revdi politics, these guarantees, is it all coming a cropper? And are its elected MLAs walking the real talk in terms of austerity when the state itself is in penury, while they want their lap of luxury? Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP with us, Nikul Patel, leader of the Congress party with us, B.S. Arun, senior journalist with us. My namaste and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat everybody. B.S. Arun ji, now the Congress party is saying that even BJP MLAs are saying, why chairs only in your side? Put chairs on our side also. Outside they are saying, no, we practice austerity, we will never back something like this. What is going on, sir? And some of these dues are 17 years old. It's for 17 years. So multiple governments, both Congress and BJP, unpaid dues.
Yeah, see, only a few days back we had a program about guarantees are not being paid to the beneficiaries. So this comes, as a in Kannada we call it, Gayada mele uppu. It's a rubbing salt on the wound of the common people, like the MLAs, being given a luxurious treatment in the legislature, so that they need not go home but relax in the Vidhan Saudha itself. So, but of course the speaker has given his point of view. The thing is, when the state is facing financial crunch, even to give the guarantees, in the last 3 months no guarantees have been paid, and the minister has said that they will be paying it from now on. So even the chief minister also joined the issue. So when such is the situation, and when the state is facing financial crunch, so why is all this? It may be a very small sum, but then why the everything is in the narrative. You are showing to the people that MLAs need luxury, whereas the common man may not. So that is the point. I think the point is not being driven home by the Congress government. It's not helping their party either, because it is not they're not showing to the people that they are austere government. They are driving the austerity in government spending. Recently, the government has said that the government employees would be paid, pay commission would be announced for the government employees. So even there, the additional burden would be there. And in addition to that, on various other issues like guarantees.
So in this case,
works are getting hit.
Now, if there is 100 crore dues that are paid, and somebody is saying, give me 20 crores to create a legislators club, should that 20 crore not go towards settling 1/5 of the dues, Nikul Patel? Where are the priorities?
See, when you talk of Karnataka, I think Karnataka government is taking due priority of its citizens and what they are voted for to come into power, replacing Bharatiya Janata Party. Because the administration during BJP rule was going pathetic and people want the change. And whatever promises that Karnataka Congress had made to the people of Karnataka had been fulfilled during the last 2 years of its rule, and nobody is coming here to complain that they are not receiving their benefits. Secondly, whatever Bharatiya Janata Party is claiming that these are the dues, and every government, even if you take a model state, which is where the Bharatiya Janata Party is banking on, that is Gujarat. I can give numerous examples of the Gujarat government and all these things, as I always used to give, because I belongs to Gujarat. So over here, when I'm talking of my government, I don't want to compare with anyone else, but I would like to say over here that whatever budget allocations had been made is duly fulfilled, and all the benefits that are promised are being given in due time. Definitely, there will be some delays of payments, but that doesn't mean that it is not going to be fulfilled. The claim that what Bharatiya Janata Party is making I think they must think on it, and they have a right to oppose, but they must think on it before putting anything on paper.
Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda?
The present Congress dispensation is totally mired in the controversies. It is having lots of political slugfest and infighting and factionalism and spilling aspersions on one on each other between the two tall leaders of the Congress party. The word development and welfareism is totally kindled in their administration. They came to power. Unfortunately, they came to power with a full majority, promising 5 guarantees to the people of Karnataka. Now people are at the receiving end. They could not get any developmental programs implemented properly, and they could not get any welfareistic schemes implemented properly. The government is least bothered about the women's safety, performance issues, water issues, and whatever it is. But the development is totally chimeral in their administration. And they promised 5 the most unscientific guarantees. They could not really achieve the fiscal prudence. The government, as I've told, as rightly mentioned, is in penury, in perpetual penury ever since they came to power. We could not really come above that penury line when we are suffering like this and keeping welfareism of the people aside, and they are talking about the luxury and perks and extra perks and privileges to the MLAs, and basically it is for their politics.
So are the BJP MLAs saying they don't want 30%, 40% salary increase? Are the BJP MLAs saying they don't want recliners in their party office?
See,
or are they voting and saying to the contrary?
If it is a hue and cry amongst the MLAs of a ruling party, if they are planning to implement it, our party MLAs will also get benefited. I am not denying this fact. The thing is, the very thinking of increasing the perks and privileges of MLA is totally not acceptable when the state is in penury, and we are facing lots of fiscal deficit, and our financial condition is so much fragile. It is totally unacceptable.
No, but are the BJP MLAs, the JDS MLAs, are they all coming out openly and saying we don't want this? Or are they quietly saying, I'm going to say no outside, but you please make sure it gets passed in the Vidhana Sabha?
Our party stand is, our NDA coalition party stand is, we don't want any kind of thing that will be very much perilous to the people of Karnataka. We don't want that. It doesn't mean that we are asking for it. If they are implementing, they will also get eventually benefited. It is their stance.
No, you're not asking for it, but you will not say no for it also. So you're not opposing it. You're not asking for it, but you're not opposing it.
We are opposing it. This is the discourse of the today's debate. We are opposing it. We strictly condemn this. When we are suffering so much, our people are suffering so much, they have reposed so much faith in Congress tall leaders, and they voted them to power and believing their 5 unscientific guarantees. Now we are at the receiving end. People are at the receiving end. And we strictly condemn this.
State's debt is nearing 25% of its GSD. Nikul Patel. Is that healthy for a state like Karnataka? Sir, I hope you realize Himachal is in deep trouble already. More than 5,000 crore rupees is only interest due. Karnataka, at least there is opportunity, and this is perhaps one state where you can turn things around, and if you are able to manage your finances, you create a model narrative for the entire country. Or is Mr. Siddaramaiah going one direction and the rest of the leadership going another direction?
So if you don't mind, can I give Gujarat model facts and figures? Recently, if you see the Gujarat government budget, it was around 3,70,000 crore. And if you see the revenue earned, from where 25 rupees out of every 100 they are going to take a loan. Today the debt on Gujarat is around 3,77,000 crore, and that is going to increase every year by every financial year. Now when you say the same thing is happening with the Karnataka government, I think every government when it wants to grow with an GDP of with a growth rate of 8%, I think nearly about 30% of its income has to be invested into the capital budget that may lead to the overall development. Over here, if you see the last time budget, out of 3 lakh plus crore budget of Karnataka government, only 50,000 was allocated for this, whatever promises and policies which Congress government had given to the people. Rest is all being utilized for other purposes which will lead to the overall growth of the state. So every government, so I'm just comparing it with Gujarat because at present day, Gujarat is the model state for entire country. So that is what the facts and figure of what Gujarat I want to give it to you and compare it with the Karnataka. Even any economic figure, if you see, that GDP to debt ratio.
What I am saying is you want Gujarat to continue to be the model state. Congress does not want Karnataka to overtake Gujarat and it become the model state.
Definitely.
Karnataka's dues today are 7 lakh crore rupees, sir.
Definitely.
And it is supposed to be a wealthier state compared to Gujarat. It's supposed to be generating far greater revenues. It's got a bigger budget than Gujarat. And you are busy comparing Gujarat. I am saying, don't you want to create Nikul Patel, I am saying the Congress's narrative is what? We give you better economic policy. We give you better governance. We've got better ways of managing affairs compared to the BJP. So, is this not the best opportunity to show that the Karnataka model of economics and the Congress model of economics is better than the Gujarat model and the Modi model of economics? Is this not the opportunity?
Definitely, it is going to be. It is going to be. That is what I am telling. That if you start comparing one to one, as you are comparing with the entire country, and you are telling that Karnataka government model is not good. I want to just correlate the factual data, and we are in the verge of best giving state government in the entire country. That is what I want to convey to you and the people of the Karnataka as well as the country. And we are basically giving the Karnataka model, and that is what is implemented everywhere.
Sir, how is this that the net interest payment is 33,828 crore, outstanding liabilities is 7.25 lakh crore? How is this the ideal form of governance and government? And when you know that your local Bengaluru municipality itself is saying 100 crore dues, and a Congress legislator comes and says build a 20 crore legislator club, then aren't the priorities misplaced?
See, no priorities are misplaced. If you take any government budget, definitely every financial year, you also know that every state legislature comes and submit their proposal, and based on that, the government used to plan the entire financial year budget for the next financial year. And that is what is happening. Definitely the facts and figures that you are reflecting may be alarming, but that doesn't mean that every state government in the entire country is running in the good health. But to implement and to give people returns, and that is what is the priority of the government.
No, but where are you doing? How are you going to do that with this, sir? Your 3 states that are governed by the Congress today, Telangana, more than 25%, more than 1/4 of your state's GSDP is under debt. So that number is 27.8%, so nearly 28%. Himachal Pradesh, it is 44%, sir, fast climbing. So nearly half of the state GSDP is under debt, sir. That's your liability. Outstanding liabilities are up to 44% in Himachal. And Karnataka is fast going up to 25%. It's 23% already. B.S. Arun, agree, disagree with Mr. Nikul Patel?
Well, certainly not. The figures are certainly alarming. I don't know about the BJP ruled states, but as far as the states that, for the figures that you had shown, for the Congress states, certainly Karnataka and other states, it's quite alarming. In fact, this is the opportunity for the Congress-ruled Karnataka government to show that, we are with the people, give more pro-people programs and, pump in money for these programs. And as well as for the guarantees, since you have given the promise, fulfill it and ensure that in no month that there will be, paucity of funds for these programs. At the same time, Anand, I would like to just bring to your notice, even the BJP ruled states are not, apart from this. You may be knowing that in December last year, the BJP ruled Odisha government in the state assembly, irrespective of the party lines, every MLA demanded that the committee, the legislature committee which took the decision to increase the salaries of all the legislators, they wanted the implementation of that. I'm not sure what happened after that, whether the government, implemented that or not. But then, it's across the party lines. The best thing for the BJP, as you asked the BJP spokesperson, is to say that, look, we don't, this is Congress government has done it, but we don't want additional burden on the people, on the taxpayers. So we are not going to take this. That would be the best thing for the BJP to show to the people that
How
you
is that
look,
possible,
we are
sir?
with the government and expose the government.
How is that possible, sir? Their own MLAs are looking across and saying, hey, you are getting recliner, you put here also. That's
the
what they are
double
saying.
standard. That's the double standard of the BJP legislators.
Sir, and how will, if somebody is getting 40% hike, why will they say, no, I don't want 40% hike?
No, if they say that, no, they keep saying that they are pro people and criticizing the state government, and let them also show that we are with the people.
Point is, sir, if this has to be approved and passed in the Vidhana Sabha, it has to have majority support, right? It has to
Yes,
have.
you oppose it on the floor of the house.
Yeah. So
what stops you?
So
That's
yes,
the thing.
let Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda
Ultimately, Anand, everybody wants this, hike.
Nobody. See, all MLAs and MPs will always say yes to their own increase in their own hike and their own privileges because it's coming from the public exchequer, even if the public has got nothing and if there are dues for even the Sarkari offices. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda.
As Mr. Arun sir has rightly pointed out, in Orissa government there was also a proposal. In contrast to the Karnataka government and its economy, Orissa government doesn't have a fragile economy. Their economy is still resilient. They had a fiscal space to cater to the needs of the thing that is raised. But whereas in Karnataka, they're already suffering from the credit crunch, and they're busy diverting the funds even allocated for SC/ST people. That is 25% of the funds allocated for SC/ST upliftment. They've also diverted for implementing the schemes. They are suffering like this. At this juncture, any initiative of the Congress government to consider to increase perks and privileges is simply not acceptable. When the economy is doing well and the economy is so much resilient that it has some fiscal space to accommodate all their hues and cries and demands, I think it is necessary to implement.
Or is it the BJP strategy, blame it on the Congress but get it done? So that it continues. It continues if tomorrow government changes. Oh, what do we do? We have to continue with it because the Congress implemented it. We can't tell the MLAs to take back or roll back the 40% hike. See, this is what I'm saying. Where is the focus? Did the BJP government work towards reducing the dues? Because some of these dues are more than 17 years pending. So when the BJP government was in place, what did you do to improve the financial health or to clear outstanding liabilities?
I agree that the fiscal health wasn't so much good even during our tenure. But the thing is, we were not diverting so much money allocated for other developmental and upliftment purposes for implementing freebie schemes, for implementing guarantee schemes. We didn't have any concept like that. But whereas the Congress government to come to the power, they have introduced 5 guarantees and they are compelled to implement that. They could not do it because that is totally ill thought out things and totally unscientific. They could not really mobilize the funds. As a result of which, it's completely fiasco on part of the Congress dispensation, and we are here to opposing it and condemning it.
Nikul Patel, a viewer, has just said that how come they have 3 lakh rupee earning but they spend nearly 15 to 20 crores on elections. So, and then they say that the ACB is supposed to be under the Chief Minister. If the ACB starts doing its work, then Karnataka will find enough funds to clear most of its dues within 15 days. That's what they are saying.
Okay, fine. I think if people are feeling that the ACB should start doing its work, then I think every government should give freedom to the ACB. And if it is true, then ACB will bring so much of money to the public.
It's under the Chief Minister. Thing is, it's got to be non-partisan. No, it's got to be bipartisan. Everybody has to. Everybody is. If you are able to collect, ill-gotten wealth or undeclared wealth, they say that Karnataka is a rich state, and the viewer is saying there is a lot of money all around. It's just not declared, and it's the public's money which has been stored away, hoarded away somewhere else.
I think, one argument. If ACB is under Chief Minister, then Income Tax Department is definitely under the central government, and that leads under the purview of that. So I think if income tax of central government will start asking, then the
Sir,
real thing
cash
will
caught by Karnataka ACB stays with Karnataka. Cash caught by income tax department goes to the center's fund. You decide. Karnataka is the one that needs money. Center is generating revenues and its own. So is the Congress
Maybe.
party saying, no, let the center do its job, we won't do it?
Maybe if
Sir,
the claim that
it's just, you
claim is there.
see the
then,
smiles on our faces very clearly suggest that we all know that a lot of these MLAs who are demanding these luxuries have got a lot of luxury by default. There may be those who may not have it, but at least catch those who are sitting on pounds and tons of wealth which is undeclared, which is perhaps ill-gotten, which also perhaps belongs to the public. And if the ACB starts doing its job, there will be certain amounts of money to clear some dues and perhaps build some legislator clubs.
To me,
Yes, Nikul Patel. Sarkar to aapki hai Karnataka.
see, every agency is independent. The first thing I would like to be very clear and honest, because we know the constitution and all constitutional bodies. They are independent to work, and if the officer who is in the executive wing, if he feels that he has to start working, then definitely nobody is stopping him. And whether it is a state government or a central government, I don't want to comment on the part of it, but if
Sir,
somebody
the
is having
ACB,
the
I'm
wealth-
just saying the ACB reports to Mr. Siddaramaiah. Mr. Siddaramaiah knows that there is funds lying with a lot of people which has ill-gotten wealth, which can help the Karnataka state exchequer shore up and also perhaps allow Bengaluru civic overdues to be paid. So, why doesn't that happen is the question the viewer is asking. Is that a fair question, B.S. Arun?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it's a fair question. Why not? Any citizen can ask a question to the government. Definitely, I appreciate.
I'm asking B.S. Arun, Mr. B.S.
Okay.
Cutting across party lines, there will be a lot of people who can shore up some of Karnataka's burden by coughing up a few, a percentage, not even saying all of it, percentage of their stored wealth.
Yeah, why not? But it's a tragedy that such things won't happen. In fact, the powers that were under Lokaयुक्त earlier, were cut down.
Yes.
And the same powers were transferred to this ACB, Anti-Corruption Bureau, and brought under the Chief Minister. So that shows this happened during the last tenure of Mr. Siddaramaiah, and that shows the actual purpose behind that. And now even the Lokaयुक्त police have given clean chit to Siddaramaiya in the Muda issue also.
Yeah,
so
clearly.
There are many things that are said
So the
and
chief
unsaid.
minister's wife got that land because of the ill-gotten misdemeanor and actions of the Mysuru commissioner, and there was nobody who indicated anything. Very similar to instances that have happened in Delhi, where the chief minister was present in the room but never the signatory to anything, and everything happened because of other people who were involved with respect to the excise duty scam. So these are things which are happening right under the very nose of the chief minister, and the people of Karnataka are watching. And at some point, the people of Karnataka will turn around and ask, saying, I can only tolerate this much, and beyond this is a no. And that will be a rejection. The larger point is Karnataka is a rich state. Karnataka has got technological wealth, economic wealth, mineral wealth, agricultural wealth, a lot of it. But this is nothing but gross mismanagement. This is the best chance the Congress party has to show that its model of governance works. And they seem to be failing at that. I think that's the larger message that the Congress leadership needs to sit up and take notice and say, start managing things properly, because this is our perhaps electoral ticket to cognition to challenge the Modi-nomics or the Modi model of governance. That's where I'm going to park this. Thank you very much to our panelists. We're going to take a very short break here on The Right Stand. When we come back, it's a big story, an exclusive news break on how there is a concerted effort to defame, demean, attack, hurt and delegitimize His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And there is a Chinese Communist Party angle to this, a CCP, PLA angle to this. Stay with us.
MDH का किचन किंग किचन.
A pause on shipment of US military aid to Ukraine after his heated Oval Office argument with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky last week. Now, the halt in aid came after Trump held a series of meetings with top national security officials at the White House. Now, the pause will apply to all military equipment not yet inside Ukraine.
I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. You're going to have the assent, and you're going to have the consent from the European nations, because I think that's important. And I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal, and if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else. Under President Bush, they got Georgia, right? Russia got Georgia. Under President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right? Crimea. Under President Trump, they got nothing. And under President Biden, they tried to get the whole thing. They tried to get the whole big Ukraine, the whole thing. If I didn't get in here, they would have gotten the whole thing. I gave Russia nothing except grief. Well, I just think you should be more appreciative, because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us, because they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden, because Joe Biden didn't have a clue, and they should have been able to equalize with us. In other words, if we gave $1, they should have given. Well, we gave $350 billion. They probably gave 100, but on top of it all, they get their money back because they're doing it in the form of a loan, and it's a secured loan. I want all of those young people to stop being killed. I want to see it stop. The money is one thing, but the death, and they're losing thousands of soldiers a week.
All right, I'm now joined by CNN News 18's Akansha Swaroop on this broadcast. Akansha, big decision by United States at this point, but also not surprising, because after the fist, we have seen the kind of furious argument that took place in the Oval Office. It was very much expected that this is going to be the decision that will be taken soon by United States.
Right, and there's been a fresh spat again, a fresh war of words, Sharon, which we must inform our viewers about, because Donald Trump took to Truth Social some hours ago, where he's referred to Volodymyr Zelensky's recent comments post the conclusion of that EU summit that took place, which was hosted by Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK in London. And he's referred to those statements of Volodymyr Zelensky, where he said that he doesn't see an end to the war anytime nearby. And Donald Trump is furious. He's seeing red again, and he's saying that this is the worst statement that the Ukrainian president could have made. And soon after that, we get the news that the United States has paused the military aid for Ukraine. In fact, I'd like to also quote what the White House had to say. They said that the president has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well. We are pausing and reviewing our aid to ensure that it is contributing to a solution, and that they will, sort of review if the leaders are committed to stabilizing this war, are committed to meeting the goals of peace, which
In response to a growing security threat, the Ministry of Home Affairs has granted Z category security to Tibetan spiritual leader His Holiness the Dalai Lama, based on a detailed threat assessment report from the Intelligence Bureau. A chilling death threat has been made against the Dalai Lama, prompting immediate action by the Indian authorities. Intel sources have told CNN News 18, shared with us by Manoj Kumar Gupta, Network 18 Group Editor in Investigations and Security Affairs, that the Dalai Lama is under threat from an Australian citizen of Tibetan origin named Singhe. Singhe has issued threats on social media, specifically on Meta platforms, Facebook, calling for the assassination of the Dalai Lama, comparing the act to the assassination of Libya's Muammar Gaddafi. Singha is now subject to prohibition orders under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita or BNS. Singha has been booked under various sections of the BNS, and the district administration has cited various violations by Singha, including waging war against Bharat and acts causing public nuisance and community disturbance. Top intelligence sources further revealed that the government considers this threat with utmost seriousness due to its international implications. The recent death threat to the Dalai Lama has far-reaching consequences, not just for Bharat, but for the global community at large. The intel sources also underline the ramifications of this threat, the various angles. The Dalai Lama holds immense significance for the Tibetan diaspora, which is spread across Bharat, China, Bhutan and Nepal. And with a sizable number of Tibetans residing in Bharat, any threat to their spiritual leader could ignite widespread unrest among the community. Intel sources further reveal that the death threats made against the Dalai Lama could escalate into a more significant geopolitical crisis, given the Dalai Lama's international stature as a peace icon. Any harm to him may fuel tensions between Bharat and China. Sources also added that the threats against the Dalai Lama have caused deep distress among Tibetans both in Bharat and abroad. According to intelligence reports, the threat to the Dalai Lama has already sparked protests in various parts of Bharat, and sources predict that large-scale demonstrations could erupt if any harm comes to the spiritual leader. And intel sources stress that if the Dalai Lama is harmed in any way, it could severely damage Bharat's international reputation, especially regarding its stance on religious tolerance and human rights. And in the aftermath of the chilling death threats against the Dalai Lama, CNN News 18 has also accessed the CCP's latest strategy to delegitimize the Tibetan spiritual leader. Intel sources have told CNN News 18 and Manoj Kumar Gupta getting us these details that the Chinese Communist Party has effectively utilized state-controlled media to craft a narrative around the Dalai Lama that paints him as an enemy of the state, accusing him of inciting violence and unrest in Tibet. Now, one of the CCP's primary tactics is spreading propaganda that aims to turn Tibetans against His Holiness. The Tibetan children are taught a distorted narrative that labels the Dalai Lama as a separatist who seeks to divide China. The CCP asserts that Tibet has always been an integral part of China and that Tibetan Buddhism should be under the control of the CCP and not exiled religious leaders. The CCP has employed coercion and intimidation to silence any support for the Dalai Lama. Monasteries are forced to denounce him, while monks who remain loyal face arrest, torture and forced re-education. The state-run media outlets like the Global Times, Xinhua and CGTN, along with a network of fake social media accounts, are being used to spread false allegations accusing the Dalai Lama of inciting violence and colluding with Western powers. Now, furthermore, the CCP's biggest tool is to promote alternative Tibetan Buddhist leaders. Now, Tibetans living abroad recruited to spy on the Dalai Lama. Controlling the succession of the Dalai Lama is another key objective for the CCP. They claim the authority to choose the next Dalai Lama, rejecting any successor chosen by His Holiness or the Tibetan community at large. Now, China's Panchen Lama is used as a political tool to replace the Dalai Lama's influence. Furthermore, the images of the Dalai Lama are banned in Tibet, and any expression of loyalty to him is being criminalized. China has increasingly turned to covert and coercive methods to undermine the Dalai Lama's influence, using a variety of tactics to weaken Tibetan unity and shift global perception. Intel sources have further revealed that Tibetans are recruited, bribed and blackmailed by China both inside Tibet and abroad into serving its political interests. Through a series of coercive measures, Tibetans are being pressured into aligning with China's political goals. China has been utilizing Tibetan-origin individuals who have been brought under its influence or are sympathetic to its agenda to create divisions within the Tibetan community. Efforts to create rifts within the Tibetan diaspora are also underway, and as Tibetans are being manipulated into opposing one another. In an attempt to manipulate global perceptions of the Dalai Lama, campaigns are being run wildly, rapidly and being fueled by bot networks and pro-CCP influencers. A recent example of the CCP's propaganda efforts occurred in April 2023 when a video of the Dalai Lama interacting with an Indian boy was manipulated and disseminated online. Chinese propagandists have edited the Dalai Lama's past video to falsely labeling him as a pedophile. China has expertly capitalized on the lack of understanding about Tibetan culture and traditions in the West to spread falsehoods about the Dalai Lama. With the increasing global focus on child protection, China has also used past videos of His Holiness to heighten sensitivity and also the attack on the Dalai Lama. Let's go across to our guest, Tenzin Sundu, Tibetan writer and activist with us, Sushant Sarin, Senior Fellow ORF with us, and we should have Andrew K.P. Leung, China strategist, also to join us very, very soon. My namaste. Thank you very, very much. Tenzing, how would you respond to what we have now got? There is a threat, there is security that's been increased, but this is also part of a larger gameplay.
Well, at the moment, China is in a desperate situation. China's economy is collapsing. Xi Jinping's leadership is facing major power struggle within China. China is facing boycotts and isolation from Western countries. Many of the Western countries, they have diverted their investments from China to India, Vietnam, Bangladesh and many other countries. So China is in a desperate situation. Xi Jinping is trying to save his own position as the dictator there, and this is his third term. So therefore, China is now desperate. They want to, at the one point in time, they are saying they want to invade Taiwan militarily. They have been pushing their PLA soldiers across the Himalayas into Indian, Nepali and Bhutanese territories. They have been occupying Tibet, southern Mongolia, East Turkestan, Manchuria for 75 years, and now China is losing control in their own country. People of China want freedom and democracy. Therefore, Xi Jinping is facing the biggest challenge in his life. So therefore, it is possible that the Chinese may be designing its own different ways in trying to either harm His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is safe here in India. So therefore, the Tibetan free people running our freedom struggle for 75 years, we are much more hopeful today. So China is in this desperate situation. Therefore, there are possibilities that China may be doing funny things in Europe, in America, and also across the borders here in India also. China has been extending their own networks of spies, intelligence officers, and also people who double up for the Chinese secret offices in many countries in Europe are also being used for that kind of dubious actions. So, these are moments when China can be doing funny things.
Right. So, Shansarin?
So, Anand, nothing is new in what China is trying to do. In fact, for almost a decade, maybe even longer, they have been preparing for the day when the transition takes place from the current Dalai Lama to the next one. And they have been trying to prepare a ground, both inside Tibet, where they have been trying to undermine His Holiness the Dalai Lama among the Tibetans, and of course carrying out a very vicious propaganda campaign against him. And it's been a no holds barred kind of thing. And they've been pretty clear that even when His Holiness has spoken about some kind of reconciliation, the Chinese have been adamant that they are not going to recognize him. Now, it's kind of funny for a godless communist party to claim that Buddhism will be decided by the Communist Party leadership, by the CCP. That's kind of strange, by any stretch of imagination. But that's what they are attempting to do. That's what they've done with Islam, for example. And their assessment is that just as Muslim societies around the world have lumped it, they have kept quiet, they continue to do business with China. Bludgeoning the Tibetans into submission is not a big deal. So I think this is what they've been trying to do. And what is important is how the Tibetan diaspora ensures that the Chinese plans to undermine the succession of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is not going to be questioned, that it will not allow to be undermined. This is, at the end of the day, this is at one level a spiritual and a religious transition that has to take place. And I don't see how any government, least of all a godless communist regime, can have any say in how a particular religious denomination decides who its successor is going to be. Clearly, the Chinese are going to put a pretender to the throne. That's a given. And that is what they will hope will become fait accompli. and then of course whoever they put up will be their puppet, who they will control on their strings, and that is it. And that is how they hope that they'll be able to completely snuff out Tibetan resistance. And I think it would make much more sense for them to enter into some kind of a reconciliation mode with the current Dalai Lama, because I think he is a man who has shown that he is open to a kind of a negotiated settlement. But I don't think, because the Chinese, look, regardless of what my colleague earlier was saying, I don't think the Chinese are going to be dissuaded by the current problems which the Chinese economy might be facing, the current geopolitical winds that are blowing. In fact, the Chinese will probably think that this is an opportunity for them to double down on Tibet, on suppressing and repressing the Tibetans. Because after all, the Americans under Donald Trump don't seem to be particularly interested in a geopolitical contestation. He's mostly interested in a trade and economic related kind of a fight. So I think the Chinese probably think that they might be able to get away with it. So I don't see them, waking up, smelling the coffee and deciding to do the right thing. I think they will double down, as all communists do. They're bloodthirsty, they have a bloodlust. And that is the history of communism around the world, including in China, where hundreds of the people have been killed by these communists. So I don't suppose, Tibetan or how the transition is going to take place is going to dissuade the current regime in Beijing.
No, and Andrew Kapilium, is there a serious attempt by the CCP to try and not just delegitimize His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and sooner or later try and replace him with who they believe should be their successor, the Panchen Lama, as they have claimed? And what is their interest in doing this? Is this to complete the full takeover of Tibet? And to
I think that, I think that we should depart from this long-standing practice of calling the Chinese government CCP. That's been deleted even from the American, the Trump 2.0 foreign ministry website. It's just calling China, China. And it's governed by the Communist Party. But on the other hand, the Communist Party has been largely supported by the Chinese people, according to the Harvard Kennedy School and various studies, very high ranking. Now, coming back to the Dalai Lama, of course, the Dalai Lama has a history of encouraging pro-independence or separation movement in Tibet. And of course, this is not allowed because no country would allow a part of its territory being separated. The same goes for India. But I think that the government, the Chinese government, has been long looking at the succession problem and studying the religious text to make sure that any kind of reincarnation would be consistent with the sovereignty of a part of China. So I think that this is going to happen. As to whether there are not any opportunities
how can a religious process how can a religious process be synced with the political motive and then say that it is genuine? Then you're yourself saying that the Chinese government is trying to orchestrate this, and it's not a genuine one. It is to suit their own political interests rather than to uphold the religious faith and the belief of a particular sect.
Look. I mean, the religion not all religions are the same, and as far as the Lama, the Tibetan religion is concerned, it's more than a religion. It's got to do with the whole politics in Tibet. As I said, I mean, it's been lying with.
But Andrew Kapilium, if you say that it's been politicized, then you have to ask this question: who politicized it? How did it get politicized?
No, it's not
did the Tibetans invade China, or did the CCP and the PLA invade Tibet and annex it? It was not Chinese territory; it was forcefully occupied, and it is still. India had its borders with Tibet. It didn't have its Tibet borders with China. This is history. Sir, 1948, 49, what happened, and thereafter everybody
read your history properly. Well,
okay.
don't try to drown me out, okay?
I'm not trying to
This is
drown you out, sir. I'm
channel.
questioning
Well,
your
yeah.
own. You
Well,
only said
allow me the
that the
opportunity to
CCP
respond
wants to
and
put
not
someone
trying
there
to-
who will be politically convenient to them.
Well, I
So
mean,
you are saying that they want to
well,
corrupt the religious practice and the movement of the
No,
Tibetan
no, no,
Buddhists
no, well,
based on how
that's
it is
my point.
convenient to them.
My point is that
No,
the
I want to ask you a
Tibetan
question
religion
to
is
Kevilu.
more than a religion.
I have a question.
It's part of the government.
Who is deciding that? Then are you saying Christianity is more than a religion because Catholicism
No,
and the Roman Church is also politicized, sir? Are you then saying that? Are you saying that America is also using Christianity as a political form because it's a Christian country? Then sir, an occupied nation whose people are forced to flee and are living as refugees for more than 7 decades, they are being politicized. They are more than a religion. But a country whose leadership professes atheism and does not believe in any religion has done nothing wrong. He is going to decide how that religion should conduct itself.
You don't want me to answer. You don't want me to answer. So
Sir,
I'm leaving this channel.
it beats me. It beats me. But we are awaiting some more details. I have paucity of time, but we will take this forward. Doesn't end here, sir. But high time that the Tibetan population and the Tibetans under His Holiness the Dalai Lama are very, very serious about where they want to take things forward, because 2 regions of Tibet are already lost. They are now reduced to only central Tibet region. What happens next is a big question, and what the role is India going to play to help our neighbors is something that we also have to decide. Quickly moving on, and we wind up this edition of the Right Stand with something very special, and this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi showing his affection and love for animals. He recently inaugurated and visited Vantara, an animal rescue and conservation and rehabilitation center in Gujarat's Jamnagar. Prime Minister Modi also lauded the unique wildlife conservation, rescue and rehabilitation initiative and urged people to focus on kindness towards animals. Now, Vantara recently won the Prani Mitra Award also for its efforts towards wildlife conservation. Here are some glimpses of the Prime Minister's heartwarming interactions.
PM Narendra Modi inaugurated and visited the Wildlife Rescue, Rehabilitation and Conservation Centre, Vantara, in Gujarat. Vantara is home to more than 2,000 species and over 1 lakh rescued, endangered and threatened animals. PM explored various facilities at the centre. He closely interacted with various species of animals which have been rehabilitated there. PM visited the Wildlife Hospital at Vantara and saw the veterinary facilities which are equipped with MRI, CT scans, ICUs, among others, and also house multiple departments including wildlife anesthesia, cardiology, nephrology, endoscopy, dentistry, internal medicines, etc. Here he played with and fed various species including Asiatic lion cubs, white lion cub, clouded leopard cub, which is a rare and endangered species, caracal cub, among others. The white lion cub, which was fed by PM Modi, was born at the centre after his mother was rescued and brought to Vantara for care.
Vision is that at Vantara in Jamnagar, we would like to be the world's most advanced wildlife institute, and we would also like to conserve and breed critically endangered species so we can release them back in their habitat, because a lot of species, even today as we speak, species are going extinct.
Correct.
And what you saw today is, so in Hindi there's a saying chidiyaghar, it's not a chidiya, sevalya hai. So we have created it as a sevalya, and it's an area where we only rehabilitate, rescue, preserve, conserve and breed the endangered species.
The caracals, which were in abundance in India, are now becoming a rare sight. In Vantara, caracals are bred under a breeding program in captivity for their preservations and are released in the wild later. PM visited the MRI room at the hospital and witnessed an Asiatic lion undergoing an MRI. He also visited the operation theatre where a leopard was going through a life-saving surgery after being hit by a car on the highway and brought here after rescue.
Currently you are in our large animal operation theatre. This is our hospital. It's spread over 1.5 lakh square feet. You can see we have a gas anesthesia machine. We have state-of-the-art operation table, operation lights. We have a entire robotic endoscopic machine which we can also do robotic surgery with. We have ventilators. We have everything which is state-of-the-art. I personally have not seen such a well-equipped ICU. So I've visited more than, before I could build this, I visited more than 30 or 40 facilities all across the world, and I took inspiration from every one of them. And those were my inspiration to build this.
The rescued animals at the center are kept in places which closely mirror their natural habitat. Some of the key conservation initiatives undertaken at the center including Asiatic lion, snow leopard, one-horned rhinoceros, among others. PM had several close interactions with various ferocious animals. He sat face to face with golden tiger, 4 snow tigers who were brothers and were rescued from a circus which they were made to perform tricks. PM patted an okapi, came face to face with chimpanzees in open who were got from a facility where they were kept as pets, hugged and lovingly played with orangutan who were earlier kept in an overcrowded facility, saw up close a hippopotamus which was underwater, saw crocodiles, undertook a walk in between zebras, fed a giraffe and a rhino calf. The one-horned rhino calf was orphaned as her mother died at the facility. He also saw a large python, unique 2-headed snake, 2-headed turtle, tapir, leopard cub which were left in an agricultural field and later spotted by villagers and rescued. He saw elephants in their jacuzzi as well. The hydrotherapy pools support recovery of elephants suffering from arthritis and foot problems and improve their mobility.
When I was young boy and we were going, I was I think 12 years old, we were traveling from Jaipur to Ranthambore. In the middle on the road we saw a young elephant with a mavat going on the road in the peak heat, and the elephant was walking a little weirdly. So I told my mom we want to rescue it. So that was the first elephant, and we had no idea how to take care of the elephant. So we got the elephant, we kept it, and then we said we'll build slowly, boon boon se sagar banta hai.
Right.
So slowly, and today we have, that time we did not even know what to feed the elephant. We would do what the Mahavat says.
Correct.
We had no scientific knowledge. We built a scientific knowledge over a period of, I think, a decade and more. And today we have a highly professional team, more than 300, 400 professionals taking care of the elephant.
He also saw the workings of the Elephant Hospital, which is the largest such hospital in the world. He also released parrots which had been rescued at the center. PM also interacted with doctors, supporting staff and workers who were managing various facilities at the center in Vantara.
A pause on shipment of US military aid to Ukraine after his heated Oval Office argument with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky last week. Now, the halt in aid came after Trump held a series of meetings with top national security officials at the White House. Now, the pause will apply to all military equipment not yet inside Ukraine.
I think it takes 2 to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. You're going to have the assent, and you're going to have the consent from the European nations, because I think that's important. And I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else. Under President Bush, they got Georgia, right? Russia got Georgia. Under President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right? Crimea. Under President Trump, they got nothing. And under President Biden, they tried to get the whole thing. They tried to get the whole big Ukraine, the whole thing. If I didn't get in here, they would have gotten the whole thing. I gave Russia nothing except grief. Well, I just think you should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us because they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden because Joe Biden didn't have a clue, and they should have been able to equalize with us. In other words, if we gave $1, they should have given. Well, we gave $350 billion. They probably gave 100, but on top of it all, they get their money back because they're doing it in the form of a loan, and it's a secured loan. I want all of those young people to stop being killed. I want to see it stop. The money is one thing, but the death, and they're losing thousands of soldiers a week.
All right, I'm now joined by CNN News 18's Akansha Swaroop on this broadcast. Akansha, big decision by United States at this point, but also not surprising because after the fist, we have seen the kind of furious argument that took place in the Oval Office. It was very much expected that this is going to be the decision that will be taken soon by United States.
Right, and there's been a fresh spat again, a fresh war of words, Sharon, which we must inform our viewers about because Donald Trump took to Truth Social some hours ago where he's referred to Volodymyr Zelensky's recent comments post the conclusion of that EU summit that took place, which was hosted by Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK in London. And he's referred to those statements of Volodymyr Zelensky where he said that he doesn't see an end to the war anytime nearby. And Donald Trump is furious. He's seeing red again, and he's saying that this is the worst statement that the Ukrainian president could have made. And soon after that, we get the news that the United States has paused the military aid for Ukraine. In fact, I'd like to also quote what the White House had to say. They said that the president has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well. We are pausing and reviewing our aid to ensure that it is contributing to a solution, and that they will, sort of review if the leaders are committed to stabilizing this war, are committed to meeting the goals of peace, which Donald Trump believes that the Ukrainian president is not. Now, the big question is that immediately Ukraine is going to be faced with, as they have already highlighted, the Ukrainian president and all of